Swadika, and thank you for joining us for the midday edition of NBT World Brief, right here on NBT and NBT World. You're with me, Tra Tirakausan. The government is stepping up efforts to address growing concerns over fuel supply and rising costs, as questions emerge over alleged irregularities in oil distribution. Deputy Prime Minister and Transport Minister Pipat Ratchakitprakan says the government will introduce B20 diesel to support the fishing sector, citing lower costs compared to B7 by about 5 baht per litre. Meanwhile, this afternoon, Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul has called a meeting with relevant agencies and industry representatives to tackle the energy crisis, including concerns raised by the Land Transport Federation of Thailand over high-price sales of older oil stocks. The Transport Minister explained that crude oil purchases are made at least 3 months in advance under global trade practices. However, he admitted concerns after refineries reported sufficient supply, questioning where the oil may have gone and suggesting at least one party may be providing inaccurate information. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anutin reassured the public there is no need to panic, emphasizing that the government is working at full capacity to manage the situation. The Prime Minister noted that daily discussions on energy are ongoing, despite recent overseas commitments, and stressed that multiple uncontrollable external factors are affecting supply, but efforts are being made to minimize the impact on the public.
ทุกคนเขาก็พยายามที่จะสนองนโยบายของรัฐบาลเพื่อให้เกิดความเดือดร้อนให้กับประชาชนให้น้อยที่สุดนะครับมันมีหลายปัจจัยที่เราควบคุมไม่ได้มันเป็นของที่ต้องอิมพอร์ตเข้ามาแล้วก็มันมีสถานการณ์นะครับในพื้นที่นั้นแต่ว่าเราก็จะบริหารจัดการภายในประเทศนะครับให้เกิดความเดือดร้อนให้น้อยที่สุดตอนนี้ความต้องการเยอะการใช้การเติมเยอะตอนนี้ก็ต้องไปหาวิธีว่าทำยังไงที่จะทำให้จำนวนน้ำมันต่างๆเนี่ยมาแล้วก็ในเรื่องของการนำพวกที่เราผลิตได้ในประเทศส่วนผสมต่างๆเอามาใช้เพื่อเพิ่มสำรองให้มีมากขึ้นนะครับ
The Finance Ministry is preparing urgent policy tools to handle rising global oil prices while waiting the formation of a new government to take action. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Ek Niti Thanpraphat says the ministry is preparing all necessary measures to address potential energy price impacts. These include a draft emergency decree to allow the Finance Ministry to guarantee loans for the Oil Fuel Fund, as well as plans to reduce excise tax on fuel if the fund reaches its limits. However, the Finance Minister noted that the current caretaker government cannot implement such measures due to restrictions under Section 169 of the Constitution. Finance Minister Ek Niti said authorities are closely monitoring oil prices, which are currently being stabilized through the Oil Fuel Fund. If the situation worsens, tax reductions may be considered as the next step. The minister also instructed the Finance Ministry and the National Economic and Social Development Council, or NESDC, to develop targeted measures to support affected households and businesses. In addition, preparations are underway to continue the half-half Co-Payment Plus Phase 2 program, which remains under study and is expected to be proposed to the next government for implementation. Concerns are mounting over Thailand's energy situation as rising oil prices and supply issues driven by ongoing conflict in the Middle East prompt urgent calls for government action. More than 100 trucks from 13 associations under the Land Transport Federation of Thailand gathered along Sukhumvit Road opposite Lam Chabang Port in Chonburi Province, calling on the government to urgently address the energy crisis. President of the Federation, Thong Yu Kongkhan, said the transport sector plays a key role across all logistics systems, including fuel, consumer goods, imports, and industrial materials. The president rejected claims that fuel shortages were caused by transport operators, saying the issue stems from oil allocation from depots to service stations, as well as irregular supply releases. The group submitted 5 demands, including capping diesel prices at 30 baht per liter for 30 days, ensuring no station closures or fuel limits, stabilizing pricing structures, easing congestion at Lam Chabang Port, and reforming the entire energy system. Meanwhile, Trairek Musantat, president of the National Fisheries Association of Thailand, met with Deputy Prime Minister Pipat Ratchakit Prakan, seeking measures to ease fuel costs for fishing operators. Proposals include capping green diesel at 30 baht per liter, subsidizing prices through intermediaries, allowing fuel imports for fishermen, and cutting refining costs to support both commercial and small-scale fisheries. The Thai government is moving to counter misinformation surrounding the energy situation as tensions in the Middle East continue to impact global oil markets and public sentiment. The Prime Minister's Office Minister Supamat Isara Phakdi has instructed state agencies to improve public communication and prevent confusion over energy-related information. The minister chaired a meeting with the Public Relations Department, or PRD, and MCOT Public Company Limited, focusing on strategies to address the impact of the Middle East conflict and reduce public panic. PRD's Director General Sudnuthai Lertkasem attended the meeting along with senior executives and media representatives. Minister Supamat emphasized the role of state media as a bridge between the government and the public, calling for proactive communication that is clear, fast, and accurate with the goal of combating misinformation, ensuring public understanding of government measures, and quickly addressing people's concerns. Authorities are also planning public campaigns to reduce panic and encourage cooperation during the crisis. The public is advised to follow official updates through NBT2 HD, the National Broadcasting Services of Thailand, and online platforms under the Public Relations Department and MCOT, where accurate information and government measures will be regularly provided. The Joint Management and Monitoring Center for the Situation in the Middle East continues to monitor escalating tensions in the Middle East as the conflict widens and begins to significantly affect global energy prices and Thai nationals in the region. The center says the situation in the Middle East is intensifying with wider impacts on global oil markets, especially following disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz. Acting Director General of the Department of Information and Deputy Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Manidon Patchimsawat, said Thai authorities are closely monitoring developments and continuing evacuation efforts. So far, a total of 1,149 Thai nationals have been assisted in leaving affected areas, returning to Thailand, or relocating to third countries. The Foreign Ministry is urging all Thais in high-risk areas to leave as soon as possible, stay updated through official embassy channels, and register their contact details to ensure timely assistance. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy is accelerating measures to reduce the impact on the public. Pachari Tongrak, the Deputy Director General of the Department of Alternative Energy Development and Efficiency, said authorities are stabilizing retail fuel prices through the Oil Fuel Fund and tax measures. Efforts are also underway to secure additional energy supplies, including crude oil and LNG, and to increase reserves to prevent shortages. Now, in addition, officials are managing electricity generation costs to help ease the burden on households and businesses during the crisis. And that wraps up our midday edition of NBT World Brief. Stay updated with the latest developments right here on NBT and NBT World. And for more stories, simply scan the QR code on your screen to access our full coverage across all media platforms. Until next time, sawasdee ka.